You guys, I've made a major breakthrough in my 2025 comic book collecting goals. Let's get into it in today's haul video. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. Thanks for tuning in and I hope you guys are doing well. I've been playing some catch up with my videos for the channel. I had recorded a video just as school started for my kids and then promptly been dealing with a bad head cold for the past 2 weeks. It kind of put a monkey wrench into making shorts, editing videos, and recording videos, especially because I lost my voice more or less for the majority of that time. In fact, it might still sound a little, gravelly, raspy, more so than normal, but I'm at least feeling better and couldn't wait to share with you my latest comic book haul with you guys. But instead of just, all business and going through what's come in, I figured I'd like to slow down, the pace a little bit and be able to weave in other things that are happening, comic book related, collecting related, and also to help keep my videos from being just about, what I purchased and what's come in. I like, to grow beyond that, but that honestly has been the easiest type of video for me to make up to this point. But before we get further into things, if you enjoy comic book reading, comic book collecting, and all things related, then please consider hitting that like button. And if you haven't done so already, I aim to put out new videos on a weekly basis, so please consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and don't miss out on any new videos. So one thing my family and I were doing recently was doing some major cleaning and getting things out of the house, donations, selling it off, what have you. And I actually wound up going through a little crate of paperback books. And while I have plenty of comic books, I have a fair amount of paperbacks, not so much as of late, but tucked away, and this was a total surprise to me, tucked away with these paperbacks were a few art books that I gotten way back before the Boston Fan Expo, when it used to be called the Boston Comic Convention. And this, I think I've spoken about it in previous videos, was a fantastic time that I got to speak to artists and writers in the comic book industry. And I always thought I thought I had a interaction with these two artists in particular, and wouldn't you know it, this was a good reminder, because my memory is pretty terrible. Overall, I would chalk it up to age, but I think in general, it's never been the best. Anyway, we got some sketchbooks, actually. This one is the Usagi Yojimbo sketchbook, and being a huge fan of Stan Sakai, and I believe him and his wife were here, because this sketchbook actually contains both his work, and I did get, I don't know if that's showing, Stan's signature on there. He spent, I think early life in Hawaii, so there's connection to where my wife grew up. Yeah, there's a bunch of sketches from Stan, and I might flip the camera around to get footage if this doesn't work so well because of glare. But Usagi Yojimbo, guys, if you've only stuck to Marvel and DC and haven't ventured elsewhere, if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, there are a lot of crossovers with Usagi Yojimbo and the Turtles. This is, her name is escaping me. I'll be sure to put it in post-production, but his wife does Chibi Usagi. In fact, there's some t-shirts from one of my favorite brands, Uniqlo, and they had some Chibi Usagi t-shirts that we got for my kids and that they happily wear. So very, very cute. Love the watercolors. So it's kind of cool that this sketchbook has works by both of them. And I was like, I forgot who I was telling about this, this time at Boston Comic Book Convention that I didn't get Stan's signature. And wouldn't you know it, I just forgot I did and had this awesome sketchbook lying around. I think that trip I had bought a bunch of original art prints. Over there, where I'm pointing, that piece of Rocket Raccoon and Groot, that's Phil Noto, who I had a pleasant exchange with, and I just really enjoy his work too. Sorry, I'm a bit rambly today, but bear with me. The other sketchbook I want to show you guys is one from Jay Lee, and also, I think I didn't bring any comic books to sign at this convention. So I think these sketchbooks are a great way. I mean, sometimes they have their own comics also there. I'm trying to see if I thought I got Jay's signature in here. Oh no, it's right there. It's in red. So there's his signature. I mean, I can obviously compare it to the title that is derived from that signature. There's some awesome, have moody pieces for him. That's Wolverine and Catwoman. I mean, he's done so many great covers for the big two, over the years. Flipping through real quick, there was a really cool spider. Oh, sorry, gotta show you the cool Loki piece in color there. And there's a Spidey. Oh, here it is. I mean, look at that. I usually associate John Romita Jr. He has some great Spidey in the Rain covers. That's pretty awesome. I don't actually know if that was adapted into a cover or not. Oh, there's a great piece of Supergirl there too. So these sketchbooks, yeah, I am thankful to my past self, as these are really cool souvenirs from that trip. And there's some other sketchbooks I've got in the past that I'll have to dig up. I know David Mack, I got one. He's done some great Daredevil covers. Although being very much back into comic books now and kind of expanded my collection, I think the next big convention I go to, I would probably have them sign some books in addition to maybe picking up a print or picking up another sketchbook, because yeah, they're compact. I think it's a good way to support the creators that we love. So that's a little walk down memory lane, kind of cool discovery. You never know what things are squirreled away. But let's move on to my latest comic book acquisitions. And guys, it's a lot of Spider-Man and it's a lot of X-Men. So these are heavy hitters. I really come to realize that these are my go-to. I have nostalgia for them. They are probably my most prized runs. Characters that I love to collect. And so the first one actually is a book that was gifted to me by my buddy Jerry, who I know watches the videos sometimes. He's a local friend in the Boston area who can just together enjoy some food, enjoy talking about comic books, have a good time. But he was recounting his time at Terrificon, which I unfortunately missed this past year. I'm really hoping that I could make 2026, but he was telling me what he picked up, and then we got into talking about, we both really like Amazing Spider-Man, and he asked me, what issues I'm going after, which ones I'm missing. He had a few doubles, and he can compare things that are on my wish list. And while I was out, we attend the same church together, and while I was sick, one of these past weeks, he gave this very securely in a Gemini mailer, gave it to my wife to bring back to me. We've got Amazing Spider-Man 239, and this is the second appearance of Hobgoblin, Roderick Kingsley, and this also features the first battle between Spider-Man and Hobgoblin. So I do think I have in my sights the first appearance of Hobgoblin. I know that can command a lot. It's notorious if you're getting it graded, which I'm not, but for it to be complete, you need the tattoos that go with it. I think I just want a copy, probably like a mid-grade copy that presents nicely. That might be something I will probably add to next year's comic book collecting list. Although I'm wondering if I should keep that, because I have a general wish list in addition to the big books that I made a fun little graphic of that you'll see at towards the end of the video, just as a check-in of where we are with that comic book goal list. Yeah, I'm not sure. Those are some things, but first Hobgoblin and first Black Cat are some big boy books I think I'd like to go after again in the coming year, just to spread out these big purchases. Moving on, I've got a recent order from one of my favorite Whatnot sellers, Space Lounge Comics, and these just also happen to be Spidey related. He's great, Space Lounge Comics. I'll put a link. He has more irregular shows now, but in general has a great selection, great prices, and this is very generous with his giveaways and buyers giveaways. Some really good books, and even action figures I've gotten in the past. So, first book I got from Space Lounge is Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, issue 22. It's a 35 center. I think, man, I want to delve more into Bronze Age. I think I've expanded my my collection into the Copper Age, but we're going slowly backwards, and a lot of the Bronze Age comics in particular, it's just something about like the graphic design, the way the Marvel books in particular had certain borders and the colors and whatnot. I really enjoy. I forget if this one is bronze or copper, but what's significant about this one is it's the first battle / meeting of Moon Knight and Spider-Man. And Moon Knight, it's another character that has really risen in my own personal ranks of what I want in the collection. There are, if not runs, there are a lot of books and gorgeous Bill Sienkiewicz covers that I'd love to add to my collection. And also like significant appearances of Moon Knight with other Marvel characters. There's like a meeting between Moon Knight and Daredevil in one of Moon Knight's own books, so I'll be keeping an eye out on those. The first time I ever saw Moon Knight was in Amazing Spider-Man when they were fighting his former sidekick, I think Midnight was his name. So from that crossover, there's like Darkhawk, there was Nova, there's Night Thrasher. It was a big hodgepodge of characters, but as a kid, and I realized this recently, I got into comics in 1991 at the tender age of 10. And there's a lot of like core memories that were formed in those early titles that I got into and started collecting. So Amazing Spider-Man was one of those earliest titles, and I think Punisher was in that storyline. I call it Round Robin. So it's a great introduction to many characters in the Marvel Universe. Moving on, the second of 3 books I got from Space Lounge is Web of Spider-Man, issue 36. And this is a key book because it's the first appearance of Tombstone. And I forget if I've talked about it at all, but guys, the latest animated series on Disney Plus, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, it's a great reinterpretation of the Spider-Man characters, even how Spidey got his powers. The supporting cast is brand new and weaves in a lot of more contemporary characters. He was in high school. He befriends Nico Minoru, who's it's still kind of her goth self, and they're both good students and stuff. So they kind of gravitate towards each other. He eventually befriends Harry and Norman Osborn, and that was a very interesting take. Oh, and then Lonnie, who becomes Tombstone, and he does become Tombstone, but is a very he has more of a heroic bent, if anything. It's just a very fresh take on Spider-Man. There might have been some like negative, I don't know. Nowadays, there's any comic book related thing, there's always detractors and a lot of criticism heaped on by people who haven't even watched the show or watched the movie. In case you were turned off by some early headlines or reviews and whatnot, I would say check it out yourself. Check out an episode or 2. I think Spidey fans will probably really like it. So, but again, just know that it is a different interpretation, and all of that background is to say I've always liked the villain Tombstone, but this new version, who is a friend and ally of Spider-Man, or tenuous friend and ally, make me want to go after his first appearance in the comics even more. This last one, even though it officially was never on my goal book list, it was one that it was pretty high on my books to keep an eye out for, especially at a good price. And it's one, this is from that Civil War time, Amazing Spider-Man 529, the first appearance of the Iron Spider costume. I remember I've taken multiple breaks in comic book collecting. I think Straczynski wrote that whole The Other story. I stopped reading for a bit, stopped collecting, and picked up the trade, which I actually don't own anymore, of The Other. It was an okay story with like Morlun and the whole totem things, which I could take or leave. But in leading up to Civil War, and Tony Stark making this Iron Spider-Man suit for Peter, I got back in, I think, the issue after this, after hearing a bit buzz about it, and went on to collect the rest of that run because he goes back in a black suit, and it eventually culminates with one more day, unfortunately, but just the completionist in me, well, I'm not looking for a full run of Amazing Spider-Man. I think that's, I don't want to do that for either Uncanny X-Men or ASM, but at least the different periods which I was actively collecting, this was right at the beginning of that run. So just to kind of round out and for me have an internal sense of completion, I wanted to get this book. Also, I really dig the Iron Spider costume, and the cover is great. I think this is, I believe it's Ron Garney, for interiors and the cover. So really happy to finally check this off, even though it wasn't on the official list. It's the feeling of completion. It very much mimics what would be checking off a book on the goal list. All right, and now the star attraction of this show, we've got the Uncanny X-Men portion of this haul. And the source of this actually might interest you. It's actually someone I've watched on YouTube for a long time, and that is Sticky Goose. And I honestly enjoy it when he does reviews, and it's kind of just like, more like talking about comic books as a collector. And while I do appreciate also where he's more critical of the industry or practices, I do also want to recognize that Sticky has some more trolly content. And so while I'm not up for that as much, in general, I've watched his channel for a long time. Anyway, he's been recently making videos to sell big chunks of his collection, like runs of Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and more recently Uncanny X-Men, which really perked up my ears. I think this is just to help slim down some of the collection. I believe him and his wife are expecting another child, so congrats to them. So in watching his video to see what was for sale, I saw 3 books that would complete my Dark Phoenix run. And after checking with him, having a very pleasant conversation, we actually even talked a little bit about the, it will have come out by the time this video premieres, but the upcoming Magic the Gathering Spider-Man set that's coming out. We talked a little bit about Magic, because I know he's mentioned that. I've played in the past, and I recently over the summer learned how to play Commander along with my son, which I think is a really, really fun, more casual way to play Magic. But anyway, fantastic conversation, very smooth transaction, and now I have a complete Dark Phoenix run, and maybe this is the thumbnail. And there might be a lot of glare here, but we've got some big books, and let's just go quickly over them. First, Uncanny X-Men number 130. I do apologize for the glare. I put these bad boys into some Mylar right away. This one has actually a bunch of first appearances, most notably for like all of 2024. This book was hot because of the first appearance of Dazzler and the rumors of Taylor Swift playing Dazzler potentially, and which didn't prove to be true in the Deadpool Wolverine movie. But in addition to Dazzler, this also features the second appearance of Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost, the first full appearance of Sebastian Shaw, the Black King. It also shows the first appearance of Jean Grey as the Black Queen. So really fun cover showing off Dazzler. And I would say this one is probably it's a little bit better than mid-grade, which it has kind of been the target condition I've been looking for this book. I didn't want to pay, I forgot the going rate, like for a really nice copy might be easily over 100, I think maybe like 120, 130. This one luckily was something much more reasonable than that. Next issue, and I don't know which is my favorite cover of this run. There are so many good ones, but issue 133. This one is the first time that Wolverine in Uncanny X-Men has been featured solo on the cover. I mean, well, solo aside from fighting a bunch of these Hellfire goons. And also in this issue, I think it's the real first confirmation of his healing power. I mean, Wolverine takes a beating. I think getting smacked all the way down to the sewer level from the upstairs of the Hellfire Club. and is still ready to fight. And of the 3 books, this one is in really good condition. Again, even though I was aiming for, again, like something a little bit above mid-grade, I really wanted to finish it out, and I think the price that Sticky gave me for all 3 books shipped, it was fine. I didn't mind paying a little bit more, especially for such a great cover. So a very clean copy, and very happy to add that to the collection. And last but not least, this one might take the cake for my favorite cover in the run. I recently, had shared about picking up the first Beta Ray Bill. Bill is smashing through the Thor title. Here, Dark Phoenix, in all her maniacal glory, is crunching the X-Men title there as well. The colors pop, Jean off of the green background, and the X-Men kind of scattered around. I think it's, I don't know if it's an homage, but it's definitely similar to, I think it's the Living Monolith or the Living Pharaoh, an older Neil Adams cover that does a similar thing in playing with the title. I'll probably have to get that book at some point. That's a pretty famous cover too. But this one, I love all 3 of these books. Don't get me wrong, but this one might be my favorite cover of the 3. And yeah, that really checks off on that 2025 comic goal list. I mean, a little mini quest within the list was to get this complete Dark Phoenix run. And the other thing is my Uncanny run from, I think, issue 129 is the beginning of Dark Phoenix Saga, and I'm only missing between issue 129 and 350, which is my tentative cap to that portion of Uncanny X-Men. It's kind of right around the time where I stopped collecting for a good bit. I'm only missing 1 issue in there, and the issue number escapes me, but it's the one with the Wendigo on the cover. That's the only one I need to fill in and to have a solid block. And we'll probably fill in the rest of the Claremont run in the long term. But I think before end of the year, I'd love to pick up that comic and really close that chapter in my comic hunting. So a very exciting comic haul in today's video. Let me know in the comments if you guys had a favorite amongst the Spidey and the X-Men books. I'd love to hear from you. I check and respond to all the comments, and that's all that is to say. I just really appreciate the time that you guys take to watch the video, to interact with me. It's really the least I could do. But thank you so much again for tuning in. Happy collecting, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.